How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. This is something that people asked for when I did put out the poll as a thank you for the 500 subs. It's onwards and upwards as we do get the deck profile that I ran at regionals. Managed to get top 100, 100th on the dot with Darkness, well, not Darkness Bagra, with Bagra Hunters that you've seen on the channel throughout the BT12 meta, and hopefully I'll also be mucking around with it in BT13 and beyond. We'll get into the deck profile now, but also whilst that's happening, I want to let you know that my wife is streaming for an MND charity event on the 5th of August, so if you can slide on down to the stream, it is going to be linked on the camera, then it would much appreciate it. But as we start things off, we'll go into the 4 eggs. Moneymon, it is the best one for a purple-based saving deck. Just get unconditional draw 1 as long as you have save, which basically everything has save and text, and then 1 Demi Mirror because you are kind of a control deck. You probably will go to the 5th egg, so Demi Mirror is the next best purple egg. For the rookies, Soundbird down to 3 from 4 because it's not Bagra tagged because Bandai hate us. So this card, it remains not Bagra tagged, so depressingly it is just a 3 of. When attacking, place a purple Digimon underneath that lets you set up some nonsense and you do get the draw 1. Doesn't have to be a saver, which makes it a bit more flexible than some of the other rookies that we have. And it does have saves, so sometimes you can set up a +2, which is very nice. Speaking of +2s, Digicross it for 2 Gumdramon. We got 3 of these, just like Soundbirdmon allows you to set up on a U, but this one doesn't require you to attack. So if you're passing turn, then sometimes this is the way to go, especially if you're Digicrossing from it, it can be quite helpful. So those are the 3 ofs. Then we have a 4 of Chuchumon. Searches top 4, find your Bagras. Unfortunately, it doesn't find either of these because they're not Bagra tagged. But it does also find your U Amano, and it does find either U Amano, not specifically one that is Bagra tagged. Running him as a 4 of because he is kind of the glue for the deck. He is a 4 cost, which kind of sucks, but keeps it safe from Ultimate Flare, I guess. Then the last 4 cost rookie that we do have 2 of is going to be Chikurimon. This one is kind of a pseudo 3 cost because when it blows itself up in order to get it searched, you usually save it under a U, which then refunds it. But this one searches top 5 with any card with Bagra Army in its text, not necessarily hitting 2 targets, but it can help you dig just a little bit deeper. And if you're trying to take something off the board versus like the green matchup where you're not trying to leave bodies that can just get swung over easily, this can be a little bit more useful for sticking. Just like every Bagra Army, they all have the when trash ban effect. Gain a memory is what you use for your floodgate control, whereas Gumdramon you use a little bit more aggressively when you're swinging. We are running, not going to the champions. So that's all our rookies. It is up from what it was in BT10, where it was honestly a criminally low amount. I hated it, but decent number of rookies this time. Running 4 of Troopmon because he does not let your opponents just play Digimon or Tamers for free. This actually won me a game at regionals versus a Beelzemon player. They slapped down the Iron Marco, did their search, it put them to 0, then scammed them for 2. And passed turn, and they were just 2 behind on tempo, so we were able to just go for it. People will just see a card they've never seen before and not ask what it does. That's on them. At locals, obviously go and explain it, but like, it's regionals. If you don't want to read the cards, you can find out what they do the hard way. More floodgates. Mad Leomon armed mode. If they add cards to their hand, trash a card from the sources, gain your memory, draw 2. It's honestly one of the best opening things that you can do if you're on a kind of crappy hand. You can Digicross 1 Bagra Army unit plus a Mad Leomon, which is why we're also running 2 of Mad Leomon just to give you that 2-cross Digicross if you do find it. And Mad Leomon also keeping their hand small can sometimes be kind of nice if they're also bricked. Sometimes it's great to obviously extend your hand and fix the issues that you're having, but it's also fantastic to just be able to keep someone's hand nice and thin. But mostly this is just 3-cost Digicross if you need it, or to bring this down to a 2-cross. Otherwise, Mad Leomon, no, he does the job. For Damemon, double agent, a lot of people hate him. I, however, have done my time with Bagra Army, and Damemon never does me wrong, except when he does. However, not very often. Get to gacha, just crank that slot machine. Sometimes you don't open a U, and you know, every game that you don't open a U is cursed, but you go rookie in the back, You Digicross a Damemon with something, maybe a Gumdramon or maybe another Damemon, which has happened, where I just open 2 Damemon and slap them down, and they'll just scoop up top 3. Maybe you find a Taiki, maybe you find a Tagaru, maybe you find your Yu and can actually play the game, but it's just value. If you're not specifically looking for 5s or any other pieces, sometimes Damemon is just something to throw down, but most of the time you're looping him for blocker, and he is a target for Tuamon. We're not running any of the old Bagra Damemon because he sucks. He only free plays a U if you don't have a U, and it doesn't care which type of U you have. So if you have the Hunter U, and now you have a U, Damemon's useless to you. He was never a Floodgate, he was only the free play, he didn't have a Digicross to bring him down for cheap. Card sucked. Only running the new one, running him as a 4-of, running 1/2 Armon to give you decoy to protect your Bagra army units, but also keep your U's from getting deleted. Very, very important in the Machine Dramon matchup, which, I'll be real with you, is still doo-doo butter dog cheeks, but it is what it is. Black Hole Grey also, Tuamon is the MVP, puts in work, and if I had space for more of him, I would run him, but instead of running 2, I ran a Clockmon, because you should not be trying to swing multiple checks at security with a 10k body and expecting to live. This just gives you a little bit of ignorance, as well as being a Digimon that can find 2 colors. Damemon being black allows you to double hit basically any of these, plus Damemon, value. Quartzmon, you know, value. You can get stuff off of it, but more importantly, you get your blocker down. If they have a memory setter, you just drop it when you're on 1, you get your maximum value out of it, and then it dies, and you have the ability to give yourself jamming at any point in the game. Awesome. So that's all of our level 4s. Definitely a bunch of tech slots, and you could mess around with the ratios on your floodgates, but I found that this was the best that worked for me, especially in the Bloom matchup, or if people just autopilot, you can catch them slipping if they, especially if you're looping the Mad Leomons, you can catch them sleeping if they then have to play into a Troopmon. Speaking of ignorance, Arrested Dramon Superior Mode, ignorant card, especially if you are swinging for multiple checks. If you've got the jamming, it's cool. Jamming lasts for your whole turn, which means it's end of turn, can also do some nonsense. But mostly this card was our answer to people that read what Bagramon did and said, okay, I simply won't have 2 Digimon on the board. You can't tuck me under. And I said, bet. Under a Tamer you go. So, Arrested Dramon Superior Mode, fantastic card. Again, would run more of it if it wasn't for the fact that Astamon just generally gets you more value. Astamon, fantastic card. Just immediately warp into your Quartz. Also, if you do have a small enough stack, you're basically free playing stuff from underneath it, which means if you Digicrossing with like a Damemon or something like that, then Damemon can come out. It is playing it from under a Tamer, so it is a card that can get you some serious value out of nowhere, but also warping into Quartz is fantastic. It's well known at this point, if you have too many in the stack, you can't do the free play from Tamer, so you just have to do a little bit of stack management to make sure you have the right pieces. 5 level 5s, but that's mostly because you never really evo into your level 6s. Your Blastmon is being played from hand in order to get the rush, and also to blitz with the on-play. Opponent's turn, blowing up a level 4 does come up if you do have to play a grindier matchup, but most of the time, Blastmon is your unreactable, just hybrid for game that costs however much it needs to cost. Even under Psychemon, as long as you have 3 memory, wham, down it comes. If you're not under a floodgate, then wham, down it comes out of nowhere. Even if they've managed to, you know, Quartzmon your hybrid, if you've Quartzmoned yourself, doesn't matter. You don't have to suspend you in order to do his effect, so he kills people. 2 Lilithmon, because when you play her, you're setting up your trash, you're setting up you. She usually refunds herself, especially if you can play her for cheap. Very, very good card. Allows you to help dig for stuff like your Bagras. We're running 2 of them, not running any of the other level 6s, because I think this ratio plus the Arrested Dramons allows you to play the board control that you want to play. And again, if he ends up in trash, Lilithmon can bring him back, because Lilith can pick up anything. Doesn't necessarily have to be the stuff it trashed. Quartzmon is the one-of. You only need it really as a one-of because you can find ways to recycle it. Thanks to Damemon, it can just pick it up from trash, scoop it under something, and then you can find a way to bring it back out. Very, very cool card. So, yeah. The fact that you can bring it back under a Tamer and then warp into it off the Asta, you only need 1. And even if it ends up in security, you'll get it back. Tamers, 1 Watchmaker, lets you find some stuff. Also allows you to be incredibly ignorant at security. Go for those 2 checks, make it 4 checks if you can. Tiger is a memory setter. He's a hit off of Damemon, so we're running him over the Ryoma or like a mat to bring stuff back. It's just in archetypes we make it work. It can make stuff cheaper, but he's mostly just there because his name is on Damemon. 2 Taiki because he's busted, sets up your drawers, allows you to just keep feeding your Bagra U because you can just pull the sources out from under him. Him being a consistent setup is really, really nice, and without him, it's really difficult to make use of Hunter U because he's eating your cards and not getting them back. He's sure the memory print is nice, but really, Taiki is more important, and of course, no changes here. Don't see the purple U, you're probably losing the game. I'm not going to hold you, you're just probably losing the game. Cards busted. These two have incredible synergy together because this loads up cards every turn, which means you're just playing this for cheaper every single turn. It is value upon value upon value. And then the last 3 cards of the deck, somewhat controversial, I guess, but this is a deck that everyone has different flavors to how they play it. This one got me far enough that I'm happy with all the work that I put in. We are running 1 calling because it's at 1. Lets you bring stuff back if you need it, if you're missing the Lilith or anything. It's also just a 1 cost. Sometimes you can use it to pop things. Like I've used it to pop Damemon in order to then get other saves and all of that. So it's usually a 0 cost if you're getting the U. And then 2 Astral Snatcher, because who doesn't love seeing a Bagramon that comes out of security? This is just 1v games out of nowhere. Someone hits it, it sucks up their lethal piece. And then, you know, maybe if I have a Bagra on field, it procs his all turns, which then burns them for a security. It feeds your U, which then scams them for memory. There's plenty of ways that this card is just busted. It's won me so many games. If I could fit it at 3, I would, but that would mean giving up calling, and I'm not doing that because that is trolling. So this is the list that I took. 2 regionals, got top 100 on the dot. And I'm very proud of the work that the whole fanboy group put into helping me test this thing and really fine tune the ratios and play some proper matchups. Thanks again to 500 subs. You guys have been fantastic. We're actually at 12k views this month, like alone. So it's just continuing to go onwards and upwards. And I will keep putting out Digimon content as long as you guys keep watching. See you in the next one. Don't go too far.